All right, everyone, welcome back to the Land of Chem. I'm your host and the author. My name is Jeffrey Drum. Thank you all so much for joining me again. All right, everyone, welcome back. This is Sunday Site Visit 82, and I am absolutely thrilled to finally be presenting this footage from our Japan expedition, as this was one of the most highly anticipated objects of the entire adventure, which will be featured in a full research breakdown and hypothesis explanation episode coming up soon. This is Sunday Site Visit 82, the Pyramid of Turtle Stone and the perplexing Sakafune Ishi. If this is the type of content you're interested in regarding the ancient technology of a lost civilization utilizing physics and chemistry, and the function of the Egyptian pyramids and other ancient structures from across the world, this is the channel for you. So please subscribe to the Land of Chem here on YouTube, and don't forget to click that little notification bell so that you do not miss out on the new episodes that premiere twice per week. Please like, comment, share, and stay tuned if you want to help support the channel and get access to exclusive research and unreleased footage that you will not see anywhere else. Check out the Land of Chem members only channel and thelandofchem.com if you want to pick up a copy of the book or grab some merch, both linked in the video description below. If you want to follow me on Instagram or on X, my handle is @thelandofchem. Also, don't forget, after you finish watching this video, please go subscribe to Let's Go with Lex and G so you don't miss out on the rest of the amazing content from our Japan expedition. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, thank you all so much for the support. I think that is it for today's intro. So without further ado, let's get right to it. All right, everyone, here we go with tonight's episode. Now, just as a quick preview for what you are about to see, here are some of the internal and external components of the pyramid structure and underground spring that are integrated into the Turtle Stone pyramid system. And we were extremely fortunate to receive a massive amount of exclusive research and data regarding this site and structure from one of the local guides that you will see in the footage. And upon the face of the pyramid, and yes, it has been confirmed to be a man-made pyramid, lies one of the most mysterious and bewildering ancient artifacts that I have ever seen, known simply as the Sakafune Ishi, that you can see here in this diagram, showing the perplexing stone in its original state, which tragically has now been broken off on each side here and here. So now, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I hope you enjoy Sunday Site Visit 82, Bizarre Megaliths of Ancient Japan, Part 3, the Pyramid of Turtle Stone and the Sakafune Ishi.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. And on today's expedition, we're about to venture into this bamboo forest here. In search of a very unusual artifact. I won't spoil the surprise, but we have several of these coming up on today's expedition. And some things that I've been very excited to see since we started planning this trip. Also pretty stoked to get out here in this bamboo forest. Looks beautiful. Let's go. Okay. So the first one here, I wonder how close we'll be able to get to this thing. The other one's back in this forest over here. Looks like they have it pretty well gated off, but So it's this guy here. Which is a piece of granite carved into the shape of a turtle. You can see here. And it's connected to a subterranean spring.
And quickly they did the excavation and discovered that it is related to the royal family in the 10 emperor family.
Okay, so the subterranean spring
そうそうそう
here
そう、下から水が湧いてきて
connected to the
こう
water
流れていってこちらへ行くと。
and flows down into the collection basin here.
でこれがずーっと向こうまで流れていって、今駐車場になってますけど、本当はずっと下までつながってた。それがもう長い間に土が埋まって堆積してた。
So what present day the car park we just parked the car,
Yep.
they had this trace all the way down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you ask him if it is made of granite, the piece of stone?
発掘してないんです。これが駐車場です。
あそこの石は何の石なのかわかります？
わかります。花崗岩で、ちょっと長い名
Granite,
前
yeah, okay, yeah.
核戦石、黒雲母石。
And this is pretty standard here in Japan that you're either looking at volcanic ash rock or some form of granite, whether it be dacite, andesite.
It's a type of granite that contains this.
Biotite. Okay.
Yeah, and all of the granite here contains this. It's
Okay.
quarried from about 3 kilometers
Okay.
from the site here.
通称はもう飛鳥石で通るんですよ。長い名前言いましたけど、そんなこと言わなくて、飛鳥石どれってこれです。
So with this is probably the least unusual artifact that we're going to see today. Obviously, it's just basically a stone basin in a spring water storage tank. It's unusual. The granite basin itself has a hole on the front and a hole on the back. So this thing is never really going to fill with water. You know, the basin itself doesn't look like it'll ever really fill up.
And
Yeah, go ahead.
the back part is made of sandstone.
Sandstone. Okay.
Yeah.
So this subterranean spring underneath here is delivering water through this channel into this first basin where it does collect, but then the water just flows through the turtle. Unless you were to plug up the hole in the back, this basin would never fill completely. It more just serves as a channel so that the water can flow through this piece of granite, which to me is pretty interesting, considering what we know about granite and the properties of the stone with quartz and ultrasound. I wonder if that was the intention of this little artifact, was not for the collection of water. Again, there's water flowing through there right now, and I don't see how that basin would ever completely fill. So what was the purpose of this artifact? If it wasn't for collection, it's more for transmission of the water source through the piece of stone, which is pretty cool. But as I just said, this is the least interesting artifact that we're going to see today. Just wait until you see what's back in this forest.
通りなんですけど、それ
Okay,
何
so
に
the
使
little
ったのっていうのは、本当は実は分かってないんですが、これ
just confirmed that they
これ
did
写真撮って
find
ください。はい
a plug and a cap where the basin could be plugged. And he's explaining that the conventional function of this system is for filtration, that as the water flows out from the subterranean spring, it goes through the channel into this first basin where all the sediments will settle at the bottom. The water then flows through. You can see here, well, you probably can't see, but I can see that the hole on the first basin is toward the top of the reservoir. So the sediments are going to settle to the bottom. The clean water then goes through the little hole down into the turtle basin, which could then be plugged on the end if they wanted to collect the water in that lower turtle-shaped tank, reservoir, basin, whatever you want to call it. I do still like the idea of the granite itself having a function as related to the operation of this little system. And he's saying how the water source here is connected to the, what was the name of that temple?
Kanzan Jinja.
Yeah, we went there, right?
No, we haven't.
No? Okay.
If we want to go, we can go today.
There's a huge temple system that has this subterranean source of water, and they said that they've traced the source of this water to this other temple. Again, all of these sacred sites are connected, whether it be via these underground water sources, the telluric currents flowing through all these sites. There's links between these things that create an entire network and system. And again, they're just utilizing the water from that same sacred spring here, purifying it, perhaps inducing some ultrasonic vibrations within the water.
Wow.
All right, now check this out.
はいこれとこっち見て
So the guy-
ねこっち見てください
Our little curator here is very excited to share all this
途中でむき出しが
information
置い
with
てる
us.
列がありますので、
It's
ここ上がっ
saying
て
that
また見てくだ
the
さい。
mountain behind us is actually an artificial pyramid. And these are sandstone blocks that they found in the mountain. This thing has been excavated, showing that what we're about to see here
これもそ
これが
うだね。
これが分かりやすい
is
で
an
す。
artificial pyramid structure.
Very similar to what we saw
So-
yesterday. This,
And also Coromanta, this is the same thing. So Coromanta, the artificial pyramid.
青森の
It's the
黒マ
same
ンタ
thing.
山っていうね、日本のピラミッドって言われ
So
ると
you
こあ
can
るん
see
で
the
すけど、
tiers
そこ
here
も同じような
and the casing stones.
ね
So this is very similar to Mount Coromanta, which at this point you've already seen that Sunday site visit, and you can also see here kind of these tiers
ですので
here, which is also very similar to the circular stepped kofun that we saw yesterday.
いや見えてますここに。あ、そうなんだ。ここ登っていただいて
So now I'm even more excited to get
見に行くでしょ。でその途中に
into this forest to investigate this next megalith.
これがね。これ写真撮ってください
And these are much older
全部これでできてるんです。
than they think they are. So he's saying this is dated back from like the 6th century. But that was just the first time that this stone was mentioned, this stone configuration here. Just the first time that it was mentioned in the historical record. So they don't really know when this actually was created. I'd love to get a drink of some of that water. But that's really cool. Again, the casing stone. You can see the stepped tiers, the casing.
Sandstone.
Yep.
And we can see that on the way. Go
On
to
the way
next
up?
side.
Okay, cool.
So excited.
Yeah, it's really, really, really exciting stuff.
I heard pyramid.
Pyramid. Yeah. One of my favorite expeditions was Coromanta thus far. There we go. There's more of.
びっくりするでしょ。こんな工事をしたんで。それが日本書紀に書いてある。
最明天皇だって7世紀とかですか？
そうそう。636年。
And this guy seems super excited to share this data with us, which we're more than happy to receive it. Man, I love bamboo. So we're actually visiting several different very weird, mysterious megalithic sites today, and I think I'll group all of these just in one episode so you can see all these crazy things that we're about to take a look at. Again, they have no idea what these things are for. This one's pretty straightforward, but these other two, they are definitely perplexing with no conclusive explanation for their function or creation. So stay tuned. And so back to the geology, the sandstone, this is the first time that we've heard sandstone mentioned in terms of the construction. He said it's not local, it's from a quarry that's pretty far away from here. So now we're seeing sandstone integrated into some of these constructions. Mostly everything thus far has been granite and volcanic ash rock, like the Oyu stone quarry.
And this transport of the sandstone
Yeah.
from the north of here is on the record.
Yeah,
And
on the river, on boats.
They created the river just to transport this.
Yeah, so he's saying that this river transport system, it's an artificially created river that was excavated to transport these blocks from the quarry. So that's really cool. He was also mentioning how the lower courses of this structure were granite, which is pretty reminiscent of what we see with some of the Egyptian pyramids, specifically the central pyramid and the final pyramid on the Giza plateau, with the lower courses being made of granite and the upper courses being made of limestone. Here they're using sandstone instead of limestone. So this has been pretty cool. A lot of things that I didn't expect thus far. So this one, to review, pretty simple. Underground spring, purification, and collection basin. But these other two, well, just wait until you see it. Alright, so the guy has been further presenting more information in regard to the excavations. This site was discovered in 2000, so it's a relatively new discovery. They found remnants of the artificial river. They discovered this, began excavations here on this artificial pyramid mountain. So the more that we discuss this particular site, the more I'm considering the possibility that when this thing was originally constructed, it probably wasn't just water flowing out of this thing. So again, if this is an artificial pyramid mound, that I'm guessing they may one day find chambers inside of here, I wonder if this subterranean spring source is actually connected into something inside of the pyramid mountain itself, which would make this not a collection bowl for just spring water, but perhaps for something else. I keep thinking more about ferrous sulphate, because we just saw another one of these passage chamber structures yesterday that has the exact same configuration as the passage chamber mounds that I've been investigating in the UK and Ireland. But this may not just be a spring water collection bowl, it may actually be a chemical collection bowl that's connected to a chamber system, chemical reaction vessel embedded within this artificial pyramid mound. He was also talking about the labor effort. You know, approximately 100,000 people were involved in the construction of this pyramid mound. There was an artificial river carved out to transport the sandstone blocks to this location. So clearly whatever they were doing here was pretty important. And the ends have to justify the means. And to me, a simple spring water collection bowl isn't sufficient. However, if we are talking about industrial scale chemical reactions and producing chemicals that were then collected here, that's a different story. So the more I think about this, the deeper the mystery goes, and the more interesting this particular artifact and this system become.
The first one, right?
Yes, yes. So I just want to see this one more time, so you can see what I'm envisioning here. So this component is directly below this here, but I'm now imagining that this subterranean spring component is connected back into this pyramid mountain. Because why would you build this huge pyramid mountain if it was just for a natural spring that was coming up out of this location anyway? You don't need the additional infrastructure here if this was just tapping into a natural spring water source. And also the spring water source itself has to be coming from a higher elevation to be able to push it up and out through this. So we're talking about something that's coming from up here. The source itself is then pumping it out through here. All right, this is pretty cool. Really, really cool. So Lex was just commenting how much this system reminds her of the pyramids of Abu Sir and the red granite collection bowl. And you can see here, so this is the spring water source, this is the bowl, but they found additional conduits that lead. So if this is just for collection, it would stop here, they would plug it, but there's an additional conduit that now is buried beneath the car park. So all of these, this part, so here, so this is photos from the original excavation here. And this area was completely flat, and then they've built up all of this infrastructure around here. They were going to put a road in through here, and they stumbled across this thing. So you can see that there's additional channels and infrastructure that, so again, it's not just a collection bowl. It's connected into a distribution system. Very similar to what we see at the pyramid of Nayusere and the pyramids of Sahure in Abu Sir. She also said how much this thing looks like, you know, again, with the adornments and the size, the bowls at Abu Ghurab. So, what originally appeared to just be a simple spring water collection bowl has now evolved into something far more complex and unexpected. Really, really cool. And please tell him thank you so much. Arigato gozaimasu. Thank you so much. This is awesome. Very, very cool. Yeah. And now you got to take a look at this. So this is what it looked like originally before it's like a baseball field or a soccer field before the excavations. And they were going to put a road through here, and now they found this and this. The artificial pyramid mountain and this conduit collection, transmission, you know, various functions were most likely involved in this system. underneath this. That is crazy. Really, really cool. All right, so as has happened numerous times during this expedition, Teru begins explaining my work to these local Japanese people, and they immediately light up because there's so many connections between their kanji, their ancient spiritual beliefs, the shide, all of these lightning symbols, the white horses, and it really clicks to them specifically in regard to fertilizer, etc. So he was explaining to the curator here about the theory, and I heard him talking about the word lightning, which I can immediately hear in Japanese now. So here, thunder and lightning are kind of synonymous, and they're used in the same word, kaminari, which technically the word kaminari means thunder, but they use them interchangeably here to also mean lightning, because you can't have one without the other. And he said, the curator lit up. He said, oh, right near here, there's an artificial mound known as Kaminari Hill or Thunder Hill, Lightning Hill. Of course there is. You know, just like Silbury Hill and all of these other structures around the UK, they're all connected. They're all related to cumulonimbus, thunderstorm clouds, and lightning. So it's been pretty cool to see the response of actual Japanese people to my investigations of their ancient structures, specifically regarding the symbolism, the interpretation of kanji, which all connect thunder, rain, fertilization, and agricultural fields and crops. They're all connected within this kanji system, so it really, really makes sense to them hearing this interpretation that this ancient civilization was building structures to create cumulonimbus, thunderstorm clouds, and lightning events, which then produced atmospheric chemical reactions that generate nitrate fertilizers that are brought down in the rain to fertilize the crops, and how those lightning storm events further stimulated additional telluric currents within the earth, which facilitated the production of more thunderstorm and lightning events. Again, this cyclical Ouroboros system of the recirculation of electric current from the earth into the atmosphere and back down. Okay, so now we'll go into the bamboo forest. All right, the story continues to get more interesting. So the curator was very enthusiastic about my hypothesis, and he was explaining how, okay, this Thunder Hill is not too far from this turtle stonework. And he explained that there is a Shinto shrine in conjunction with this Thunder Hill that was called, again, so they use the word thunder and lightning interchangeably. So when I say thunder, it could be thunder and lightning. Again, these two things, you can't have one without the other. So Thunder Hill or Lightning Hill is also connected to the Shinto temple that's known as Thunder Avenue or Lightning Avenue. And this Lightning Avenue is said to be the tail of the dragon. And the head of the dragon is located at Mount Miwa, where we visited yesterday. I didn't record anything there because it was just a big Shinto shrine, and we didn't have this knowledge at the time. So you have the head of the dragon at Mount Miwa, Thunder or Lightning Hill in the middle, and the tail end going to the Shinto shrine at Thunder Avenue, the tail of the dragon. Literally a serpent temple complex, the exact same as we have with Avebury, with the center of the serpent temple complex being the telluric current concentration structure that attracts the lightning, and then the distribution going into the tail end and the head end. It's literally the exact same thing with the structure he just described here in Japan. So the research that I have to do following up this expedition just continues to pile up, and it's going to be a lot of work, but I am very, very excited about where all of this is going.
It was 25 centimeter higher on this end.
28.5 センチ上げると、
And they had
こ
the
うなって
little
水
smaller
がこう
stone
流れ
to
てどっかに入
rise
る。
them.
Okay, so a little preview of what we're about to see. Check this out. And unfortunately, the stone has now cracked, and we'll only be able to see this center part here. So when you see it, keep in mind that there was originally this configuration over here
YouTube もらうな。
and this part over here.
叩いて。
But this
ぜひぜひ。
is extremely unusual, and I can't wait to see this thing. And he said that originally this end of it was tilted up. Like, yeah, he's showing us the inclination. Yeah, yeah. Well, I can't read that. Yeah, but 28.5 centimeters raised this way. So this is the bottom, and this is the top here. So it was slanted up this way. So that's important for me to remember when I try to decipher the function of this thing.
でまたここへ戻るんです。戻ってこれ写真でご覧。
And he has a whole presentation here on this stone as well.
スタートがここです。でくるくる回った水は全部ここへ一回集まるんです。一
So
回回って
water starts from
して
here.
ここ
and then-
回るわけね。そうすると水っていうのは循環しないとこう水回らへんでしょ。で私右利きですか
So
ら。
he keeps using the word mizu, which is
ここ
water.
水入れるわけ。
So I know
で
he's
水だけでは
talking
わから
about
ないんでこれ。
this thing being related to
笹
water.
舟をここへ浮かばすの、そのぐらいの幅です。そうすると笹舟がどこ行くかによって水の流れわかるでしょう、でここへ入ったから西明さんは
We shall see.
自分の息子中野大江とか大物に
あそこの占いをしてたの。
してそうこうやろってで後で白星の戦いで負けますけどね、そこへ一族両党全部連れて行ったのは、これでやったんやと思う。
Okay. He thinks that these were a kind of fortune-telling system used by the emperor.
Okay.
The system is こっちで説明してください。こっちで説明すると、ここに笹を入れんの。
そう
そう。
で水がこう流れて一回くるくるっと回ってトンと当たってどっかに入るわけです。
Depending on where the water
Yeah,
goes. You
yeah.
pour the water
Yeah,
in here.
but
and it
yeah,
goes.
but water's running right like this, and then the emperor maybe put the leaves here and see where the leaves ends. You know.
Right, in the flowing water
Yeah, yeah,
system.
yeah,
Depending on which bowl it
Yeah,
goes
yeah, yeah.
into, that would predict which fortune.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
で
Interesting.
これが最後に水が全部ここへ溜まって水を循環さすわけ。ひしゃくです
So
くって
the water ends here, and then you by
ここから
hand,
スタートしてくるくる
yeah,
回
with the
る。
dipper, you sort of
笹
bring
舟
it
は
back
流れ
to
る
the
でしょ。
top, and
置いて
then
たって流れる
Interesting.
から。
Okay,
これ
cool.
は現物見て私の話が嘘か本当かをご自身で判断して
This guy.
私が言うたって言ったらダメなの。
Awesome.
やっぱり
Very,
そう
very
やって
cool.
ことで
And we're very, very lucky to have this dude here today, because this has been a huge revelation. Cool.
面白いね。
Let's go see it.
で集まる本人だけ分かるんですけど昔お酒のことをささっと読んだんです。辞書を調べていただいた。
Again, I think this is my 5th pan into the bamboo forest. All right, we're getting there. Beautiful. Okay. So the first stop here, this is showing some of the excavated sandstone casing blocks or interior infrastructure of this artificial pyramid mound. I wouldn't say this is quite a mountain, but it's definitely an artificial pyramid type structure. All right. So now I'm gonna break away for a sec. And I really like the curator's idea about the utilization of this stone for divination. I think that's a really cool concept. Alright, I'm gonna have to wait. I didn't expect to have a big tour group out here, but alright, here we go. So this thing is crazy looking. And I'll give you an overhead shot. Check this out. So you got to remember that this side here and this side here were split off, and unfortunately this was done intentionally. This stone was broken and they were quarrying this piece of stone for utilization in another construction. You can see here that there's quarry marks. So like this, these holes are quarry marks where they had split this piece of stone off. So remember that this isn't the original configuration of this stone, and it was originally tilted up in this direction, where this end was higher than this end. And the curator was explaining his idea about how water from this little basin here was scooped out and poured down into here, and that leaves floating in the water would end up in one of these little circular holes. Now I like that idea, but looking at the volume of water that you could put in here compared to the volume of water that would be required to fill this whole thing, there's something not adding up about that to me. There's not enough water in this little area here, even if this was completely filled, to fill all of the channels in this stone artifact. So again, he was saying that the water would fill this entire system, and that leaves floating, you know, again, wherever the leaves went is whatever fortune was predicted. Again, divination, fortune telling. I like that idea, but from a functional perspective, I don't see that as the case. There's not enough volume of water in that little reservoir to fill any of this. So what the hell is this thing? I was hoping that that was one less piece of research that I would have to do, one less mystery I would have to decipher from this trip. If I agreed with that hypothesis, I think it's a cool idea, but looking at this thing, I don't see that as the case. So what the hell is this thing? So there you can see Lex for a size comparison of this object. Again, remember, it was originally up this way, and it's since settled back down. He was saying that it was raised up, 26 centimeters or whatever it said on that sheet. But this is not the craziest megalithic artifact that we're going to see today. This is just number 2, and things will be ramping up as we get to the next site. I don't have an opinion on the function of this quite yet, as this is the first time I've seen it in person. But sorry, I'm getting eaten by mosquitoes. This does appear to be a reservoir of sorts here. I'll have to look back at the video and of the pictures of the original configuration to really dive into this thing. And the Sasafune Ishi, Sasafuna Ishi, Sakafuna. So the name of this stone is the Sakafune Ishi, Sakafune Ishi, which the literal translation of this has to do with, it's like the sake ship stone. But he was saying how the translation of bamboo leaves may have evolved into sake. It's a very similar word. So it may mean the bamboo leaf ship stone. But the word fune is ship, like a vessel, like a boat or a craft of some sort. So, as always, I do believe that there is some sort of esoteric information encoded in the names of these things. So this is something that's going to require some further in-depth investigation. Pretty crazy. On to the next one.
All right, everyone, that is it for today's video. This was Sunday Site Visit 82, the Pyramid of Turtle Stone and the Sakafune Ishi. I really hope you enjoyed today's video, and please bear with me over the next several weeks as I had some unexpected travel come up, and the third Land of Chem tour here in Egypt starts soon. If you are interested in the ancient technology of a lost civilization, utilizing both physics and chemistry, and the function of the Egyptian pyramids and other ancient structures from across the world, please remember to subscribe here at the Land of Chem. Don't forget to click that little notification bell so that you do not miss the new episodes that premiere twice per week. Please like, comment, share, and stay tuned. If you want to help support the channel, check out the Land of Chem members only channel and thelandofchem.com, both linked in the video description below. If you want to follow me on Instagram or on X, my handle is @thelandofchem. Also, don't forget, after you finish watching this video, please go subscribe to Let's Go with Lex and G so you don't miss out on the rest of the amazing content from our Japan adventure. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, thank you all so much for the support. I think that is it for today's episode, so I will see you next time.
Yo, are you still watching this? Please subscribe to the Land of Chem here on YouTube and click that little notification button. New videos coming out every single week. And check out this other episode. Come on, do it. Do it now.